so I like to start as early as possible in the mornings. Kind of a nice, calm, relaxing, kind of, idyllic sort of beginning to the day. I find it helps me really get just into that productive mindset. However, there's a few issues with this, and the predominant one is children. So rather than having this luxurious breakfast, I tend to eat one of my children's leftover Pop-Tarts, which we really shouldn't be feeding them, before heading to the studio to more than likely not be getting my camera out. As much fun as it is to shoot, I would say a disproportionate amount of my time is spent doing admin, which isn't ideal, but that's life.
So I'm about to do something that contradicts everything I've ever said, kind of, and you need to bear with me here to hear the full story. I am building a still life portfolio, and I always rant and rave about niching down, and the reason I'm doing this is kind of twofold. One is because I think my style of photography will work within this genre. I think that if I take my bold and graphic food work and apply it to still life, it'll still work. The other is I also shoot still life professionally now and again. And I say now and again, several times a year. And I do have a reasonably good understanding of the ins and outs of it. Now, I recently set up a Patreon account, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed, followed, I don't know how it works really. Where I've already announced this, situation. And the fact that I'll be building this portfolio throughout 2022. So this here is what I'm going to do. Let me try and explain without mumbling too much. I'm going to shoot these long form videos of me creating my portfolio. I'm going to put highlight reels up on here for everyone to see for free. And then for those who want the more in-depth version, that'll be over on my Patreon. So they'll be sort of 15, 20-minute videos. And it's only £5 a month, which is like the cost of a pint of beer. Does everyone drink pints of beer? I assume so. Pints must be pretty common these days. Yeah, beer. People drink beer. So, same price as a pint of beer. Now, the way in which I'm going to go about this, and the reason why I think it will work, is after a conversation with my agent, where I was like, look, this is what I propose. I think what I'm going to do is try and recreate my bold and graphic look, but with product rather than food. And I think it can be commercially viable with the current trends at the moment. So I need to come up with a body of work, 20 to 30 images that I can use to sort of say, look, here is my view. Here is my standpoint, my stance. Here is what I believe will sell in 2022. Here is what I can bring to the table, because there's plenty of still life photographers. There's no shortage of them. So I need to bring in my own perspective. Now, it's been very successful in the food world and drink world, so that is good. So I know that people are liking it. So I'm just going to try and reapply it. Now, does this mean I'm no longer niche down? Kind of, a little bit, yes. There is a definite worry that I have that I'm going to dilute myself and that people will no longer know what it is that I do, but I'm hoping that the bold and graphic style that I shoot in will be enough that people go, yes, this is Scott's style. His food work, his still life work, his drink work, it all looks the same. It's still a cohesive niche of work. So rather than the niche being food, the niche is bold and graphic imagery. And it goes a bit more detailed than that. But yeah, that's sort of the gist for it. Now, do I think you should do this? Maybe I do. Maybe if you're at a point in your career where your style itself is established enough, maybe it's time that you can broaden what you put into that style and what you photograph and apply it to different genres. It won't work across the board. I don't think my style of work would work for portraits or for car photography or watch photography. But it does, I think, lend itself to still life, and that is why I'm going to pursue that sort of area. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about this, about how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to upload stuff, or whatever it may be, or things that you want to know about still life photography, let me know below, and I'll try and cover those in future videos. So the main thing I am doing today for my sort of non-shooting day is working out my new portfolio. Now, this is not just something I do for new portfolios, this is something I constantly do, and it's a major part of my working week. So I like to have everything as being a tactile thing, which I know is not great for paper waste, which does make me feel a bit bad, but we do then shred the paper and use it for cat litter afterwards, so we're all kind of winners, or cat litter liners. Anyway, I digress. So first I'm going to show you. I recently picked up this. This was at the London Transport Museum. And it's this book of beautiful advertising prints. And this is the Tom Ecclesey. Ecclesey? I'm not sure if you pronounced that right. There you go, yeah, this here. Like looking at this. It's very bold and graphic. It's very much my style of work, but in a graphic design way rather than a photographic way.
And then the other things I do is I'll go through the BJP, which is the British Journal for Photography, sort of see what's going on in the world there, see if there's anything which is particularly good. And I will often photograph it and then print it, because I don't actually like to cut things out of books or magazines. And likewise with the creative review. Now the next thing I do is I jump online and I will go through various websites and start printing out images of things I like. We then get them onto the whiteboard, stick them all out, and I start to build themes. And then we look at actually building the portfolio. So I'm going to start exploring now. And then once we've printed it all out, we'll have a look at what we've got. Vaguely see that. So we've got some toothpaste here. We're going to go for red background, so it's red on red. We're going to go really low down, distorted with a wide lens, and sort of go to probably like 50mm. You get the whole thing tack sharp, very heroic. We'll then get the toothbrush shot. Obviously with that perfect bit of toothpaste on top, which I have no idea how to do yet. And this one here again, it's going to be like a real heroic kind of shot. So really going for like the dynamic angle, so probably very wide but very close at the same time. So wide and close. So that's the first two shots there. Then we're going to need some sort of face washing stuff. And I think what might be interesting is to see it from the bottom, because you've got that like bit there, and we'll have the actual face wash coming out. And then I feel like we need some sort of, bring my chair in, I don't know, 3 shots there, so it's teeth, but teeth and faces, maybe moisturiser. Don't really know anything about moisturisers, so we'll do some research there. Find a nice product. For this here, we'll probably go for Colgate, because it's a nice red, so it'll be good red on red. Then we'll go red toothbrush. And red background again here, because red on red always looks good. It's just a nice, it's why newspapers have red bits at the start. So the audio for this is going to be awful, so keep turning around. The moisturiser, face wash, moisturiser, teeth. I mean, as you can tell, I don't have a very particularly big morning routine. Maybe we should have some beard product. So beard oil, I have the bottle. And the pipette, a drop, and again we're going to go close and wide. So this is literally how I plan my work. This is what we're going to do for the shoot, and I'm going to record this as well so you can see the shoot going on, so do make sure you follow for that there. But this is kind of what we're going for. So we've got the 4 shots as a story, it's the morning routine, and try and buy the products so they all go on the same red background. We're going to keep the red background as the continuity. That is going to be like the thing which pulls this whole thing together. I'm going to crack on with that. I'm going to show what James is up to. So whilst, oh sorry.
How long did you use this stuff?
Years.
Really?
Absolutely years. And this is what James is doing whilst I'm busy pretending to be an artist in there. He's busy cleaning all my old lights and working out what works and what doesn't, what needs to go to the tip, what needs to be sold, and what we can keep. So alongside the new cat tree and the bag stand, we've also been sent all of this foam from Arrowzoom. So we're going to add a little bit more sound treatment to this room because it's still a bit echoey. We've still got this bare wall here, and then there's a bit of space over there. We might get a bit on the door if we can. We'll see how much foam we've got. But yeah, that's hopefully going to help me get the audio in here sounding as good as possible without turning it into a completely pitch black dungeon room. And this stuff here, we've had it out overnight, so it sort of unfolds, because it kind of arrives like a modern mattress. So it turns up and it's just completely flat packed. So all of this was about the size of a letter. But yeah, let's go and give it a crack. So Bav is part of a three-person retouching team we've had working on a project at the moment. I've known him for a while. He helped me build the kids' castle in our garden. And he's been a great help, but for now he's teaching me DaVinci Resolve. So the next thing on today's to-do list is to learn DaVinci and get a bit of a sort of system going so I can edit as quickly as possible, because I can only really afford to do 4 hours editing a month for the YouTube stuff, so I've got to get a good, efficient and quick setup going. So once I'd finally got to grips with it, Bav had a bit of re-editing to do, which I did in the morning. So he's been sat outside of the office because I've had to take loads of phone calls, and it's really annoying listening to people make phone calls whilst you're editing. And he's been out on my tether station on his own custom built PC so he can edit away in his normal sort of settings as best as possible, whilst I was floundering around building a hat stand. That's pretty much it. That's sort of what we get up to when we're not shooting. So a bit of retouching, a bit of studio renovations. I was doing a lot of planning. It's a pretty ordinary sort of Thursday, which we filmed this on. Nothing special happened, nothing exciting. There was no helicopters, no explosions, no cool stuff. Just the general runnings and workings of a commercial studio, which I hope you found interesting. If you like this sort of thing, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and put some more together.